Welcome to the grid. You're ready for this?
Without doubt, the best place for overtaking.
What an incredible weekend.
We've seen history made.
Disaster for him and his teammates.
This is a game changer.
It's a crucial race.
Welcome to the weekend here in Suzuka, and we're coming to you from a very privileged position here inside the Williams garage. In fact, I'm in Sergei Sorokin's car for the weekend. Well, not literally. Now, they're celebrating 30 Grand Prix here in Suzuka, and they've certainly served up some classics.
Welcome to Suzuka.
Oh my goodness, this is fantastic! And David Hill wins. I've got to stop because I've got a lump in my throat.
Look at it. Go!
This is amazing! What an absolutely sensational Japanese Grand Prix!
Welcome to the evening in the paddock in Suzuka, in the pit lane, and the Williams garage, where they are hosting us for the show this evening. What a privilege it is to be here. Did you like that? I loved sitting in that car. It was amazing.
You did very well. How long did it take you to get out?
7.3 seconds.
Nice.
Very quick.
Past the
Fastest it's been all
extraction
weekend so far.
A few more million and we'll put you in that car for real next season.
Fantastic. Look forward to it. If anybody wants to sponsor me or get behind it. Right, now we have lots coming up in the show tonight. We will start, of course, with Lewis Hamilton, who's 50 points clear at the top of the championship, coming here after that win in Russia, with only 125 points left available. His win in Russia, though, came at the expense of his teammate, who was asked to move aside as Mercedes used team orders to secure the win for Lewis last time out. And elsewhere in the paddock, Ferrari have launched a new livery. It's part of a new project called Mission Winnow from one of their main sponsors. We'll tell you more about that on the show tonight as well. But there's only one place to start, of course, and that is with the championship leader. So how's he feeling coming into this weekend?
Lewis Valtteri's just told us that he wants his win bonus back, or to quote, he's coming round your house. How have you squared it away with him? You know the Finns, they're a tough bunch. Is the dust settled now?
Yeah, I haven't squared anything away or anything like that. I haven't seen Valtteri since last Sunday. So that's the first I've heard of it, but I'm sure he's handling whatever those things with Toto. Yeah, we're just trying to move on move forward as a team. It's another week, another intense weekend that we're going to have this weekend, and we're just trying to conduct ourselves the way we have always as a united team.
Okay. And finally, Ferrari's lack of pace, I suppose, over the last couple of Grand Prix seems to have raised a few eyebrows. Has it raised yours?
No, it's not raised my eyebrows. No, it was definitely. We were definitely not expecting them to be, or we were not expecting to be as fast as we were in the last race. I think our car worked really well. I think it's difficult to know how much we've improved as opposed to have they stood still or have they gone backwards. We have no idea. Maybe we'll have a better understanding when we come here, as we expect it to be quite close here.
So, Ant, you weren't with us in Russia, but you watched it all unfold. Team orders, what did you make of it?
It's not what the fans want to see. It's not what we want to see. But when it gets to this kind of critical stage in the championship, it's something that you often see, unfortunately, and you need a few ingredients to make such a thing happen. You need a driver that is a teammate who's not there challenging realistically for the championship. We've had Nico Rosberg in the past that really pressured Lewis all the way through to the end, and it was a very different situation to what it is now this season. And you also need that driver, that same driver, to qualify in front of someone like Lewis, like we had with Kimi Raikkonen in Monza, and it creates that kind of problem for the team. And then obviously it's the fans that suffer as an end result. So it's not what we want to see, but it's an unnecessary evil. It's a necessary evil at points.
Well, we did put a vote online for you. Well, we asked you, were Mercedes right to use team orders? And this is the result of that vote. 60% to 40%. 60% saying yes, Crofty. Did that surprise you?
No, because we've got a lot of very clever, very beautiful viewers at Sky Sports F1 who realise it's a team championship. And yes, we concentrate on the drivers, and yes, the drivers are heroes. But up and down the pit lane, the teams get the prize money for the points.
But the team still had a 1-2.
No, but they might not have had a 1-2. The whole thing about Russia was that had Lewis Hamilton, with his tyres blistering, being left in the position he was, being pressured by Sebastian Vettel, it could have been a 1-3. And there's no way Mercedes want to be giving away points to Ferrari, as Ant said, at this stage of the season. So they had to make that call. It wasn't just about, let's put Lewis Hamilton even further clear in the Drivers' Championship. It was, let's protect our 1-2, because we need that lead in the Constructors' Championship, because that, at the end of the day, pays the bills. And Mercedes last year paid something like £309 million to go racing in Formula One. So every point is a bit precious here.
OK, well, it's not as if it's a new thing, though. We have seen it in the past, some very famous instances of team orders. Of course, we can go back to Schumacher and Barrichello in Austria.
And look, when that happened, it happened on the line. It was so clear for everyone to see. And it was much earlier in the championship as well than where we were in Sochi, of course.
And he got him up on the podium. They got told off for breaching podium procedure, and then here, Crofty, in Germany.
Well, yeah, and I conducted the interview straight after Fernando is faster than you. Of course, here, team orders weren't allowed back in those days, so it had to be a coded message sent by Ferrari. Now, they are allowed in the regulations because you just can't police it. If you ban them, the teams will come up with a code.
There'll be some sort of secret message.
There'll be a way like that, like Ferrari did, or it'll be done in the pit stops.
OK. Well, Sebastian Vettel last weekend, of course, was behind those two Mercedes when the team orders were issued. Here's what he's had to say coming into this weekend about their lack of pace in Russia.
There's a story going around in Auto, Motor und Sport that going on the GPS traces, the car seems to have lost its engine edge, maybe that you had in Spa. Some stories of other FIA sensors. I'm sure you've seen the story. Is that true? Was there less oomph from the engine in Russia?
No, I don't think so. I mean, we were running at full boost. Obviously, in Russia, we're not competitive. I think we lost more time in the corners than on the straights, so I don't think.
All right. So it wasn't to do with that. Do you think you can find that pace again? The Spa pace?
So obviously, between those two races, there's been now only a week, and not much you can do in a week, but I think we have some ideas to find some of the pace, and hopefully the track and the conditions suit us a bit more.
Yes, Ferrari still looking for that pace that was missing last weekend. I mean, Sebastian got ahead of Lewis in the pit stops, but Lewis made the overtake look pretty easy once he got close to him, didn't he? Or not?
Yeah, it wasn't easy, but yeah, I think at one point he thought he was going to actually touch. I thought they were going to touch down into turn 2 and then into turn 3 as well. But no, it was great to see a bit of racing. And that's what we got from that kind of mix-up in the pit stops, at least. And this was that moment down into turn 4. But yeah, it's very, very close. But Lewis was just unstoppable. He had the bit between his teeth. He was just on a mission to get back in front of that Ferrari that he felt like he had lost out unfairly in the pits.
And also, we saw after the race, Sebastian having a very good look at Lewis Hamilton's tyres.
Yeah.
And don't even think about it. I saw you looking at the tyres.
I was going to kick something right now, but I can't because we haven't got any tyres at the moment. But he's right to... I think he's taken out a bit of frustration there as well. But he's right to have a little look at Lewis's tyres because they were blistering. And he wants to know by how much were they blistering. Like it or not, tyres are the secret to a lot of performance at the moment in Formula One. And if there was a genuine concern, which there was, Mercedes say, then Seb wants to get first-hand knowledge himself.
Is he allowed to do that, go and kick the other car?
He can do what he wants. He's a 4-time world champion.
It's in part firme, though, is he?
Well, yeah, he probably isn't, but he's done it now, so what are you going to do? Say, Seb, whatever you've just learnt there, unlearn it. No, the horse is bolted, so Seb often wanders around the cars in part firme. He does it to his own car. He did it when he was at Red Bull as well. Listen, it's out there in the open. It's there to see, isn't it?
Well, the horse, they hope, will be bolting a lot faster this weekend, but they have a new livery to show off, which they showed us this morning. And this is in conjunction with the Philip Morris, their main sponsor, title sponsor, and it's a programme called Mission Winnow, which winnowing is separating the wheat from the chaff. I never realised, but that's what it's based on. They've got it on the engine cover, they've got it on the side pods, and they're going to have an engine and wheels on it by the time it gets to the wheat.
Separating the wheat from the chaff.
Yes.
I mean, they've barely had anything to celebrate in recent races.
How long have you been thinking that up?
It just came to me.
Someone who did have something to celebrate last weekend actually was Max Verstappen, who turned 21. And he turned 21 with a fantastic performance in Russia. Ted caught up with him a little earlier.
You often tell us about what a good car it is, and it certainly proved that in Russia. It was fantastic stuff, opening few laps, wasn't it? You must have enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was better than expected, let's say it like that.
And so here, engine allowing, what are your sort of team goals? Say engine allowing.
Yeah. No. For the team, I think the target is always to set up the car in the fastest way possible. But that's the same for everyone. But always try to maximize it, and I think we did that in Russia. We'll try to do the same here, and then we'll see where we end up.
So looking forward a bit, have you heard about this new Honda engine that they're running at Toro Rosso?
Never heard about it.
Have you heard that it's about half a second? Tell us what you heard. We hear about half a second per lap, better than the last one.
It's strong. Let's see how it's going to work here in Japan.
And reliable, well, you'll see, but it must give you some sort of feeling about next year.
Yeah, well, I mean, for me personally, if we have a chance of winning races every single weekend, but every second weekend it blows up, that's much better than always being slow. Yeah. That's how I think about it.
Well, we'll get on to Honda, actually, in our next part. But first of all, 19th to 5th in that race. He's beating Daniel by 24 points. Great weekend for him.
What a great recovery of a season as well. I mean, this is the guy that everyone was moaning about at the beginning of the year, saying he's got to change his ways, he's too aggressive, he crashes all the time. And he was absolutely on top of it in Singapore, qualifying, and then in Sochi in the race. Beautiful driving, really mature, and yeah, just scything his way through the pack.
6 places he made up on lap 1 alone, Max Verstappen. It's the 9th time this season he's made up multiple places on lap 1 as well. He's made up places 10 times in all. Out of the 16 races we've had, Max has started well enough to make up places on lap 1 10 times. I think, to me, since Monaco, there's been a sea change at Red Bull. Daniel Ricciardo, for whatever reason, has started to lag a lot behind his teammate.
He's had a lot of failures in the car, though, as well.
Yeah, he has, but he's been out-qualified 10 races in a row. You know, that doesn't just happen by chance. Max has really seized the initiative here, and I think he's driving better than we've ever seen.
Yeah, absolutely, Crofty, and he's only going to get better and better as well. That's the thing with Max Verstappen. I said at the time, we need to give this guy more time. Let's give him time. He's a star now, but he's going to be a bigger star in the future.
You weren't there when he said it, but he said 4 world titles by the time he's 30.
Why not?
Let's not doubt it. Could happen.
All right, well, we will talk some more about that Honda engine, because, of course, this is their home race as well, coming up shortly. But it doesn't matter if you get grey skies here, because the fans really make this place very, very special, incredibly colourful, and give us all a very warm welcome. We'll be back in a moment.
But yeah, it's been unbelievable to see the support, all the people, you know, the Japanese fans are really showing the patience and the support. So no, it's been great.
Okay. Is the team definitely running the new spec engine this weekend?
Yeah. So far, that's the plan, and yeah, we're planning to run it for the race. So that's why we took the penalty in Sochi. It wasn't ideal, but just to maximize our chances for Honda's home race in Suzuka.
Okay. Because while I hear it's almost half a second, well, I mean, how good is it? I hear half a second per lap.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's at the moment we don't know exactly because we didn't run it flat out in Sochi, and there are still a few things in terms of reliability. We are not sure, so we know there is some potential. We just need to understand how much we can extract from it. So at the moment, yeah, we still exploring, but there is some potential, and hopefully we'll be able to get what you say. But yeah, we still need to see it.
Just before we talk, Toro Rosso, I don't have kids, but I imagine having a small child in a sweet shop or a toy shop is like having Ted in a garage, because we're having to restrain him from running off all over the place
Normally
right now.
they kick him out.
To Williams.
Never mind that. I mean, I'm just happy to be here. I love Japan.
Stop
Hello,
wandering
everybody, by the way. Sorry I wasn't with you earlier. I was talking to Brendan Hartley. Did you explain that before?
No, I didn't, but thank you.
Okay.
But I'm just trying to stop you from walking around this garage and getting us in trouble.
No, it's not
No,
that.
we can go wherever we want.
I just love Japan. It's great. Came here straight from the airport this morning. Took 3 trains. They were all on time to the second. It all worked out absolutely perfectly. Got here. I just love this place, don't you?
Do you talk to the drivers on the train as well? I bet you do, don't you?
What, you mean the drivers when they point at the signals?
Yes.
And I just love the way you've got the things,
isn't it?
everything around. Have you seen this lovely?
You're not allowed to go.
This lovely. It's like a paper lantern that they've made. Above the other car.
It's beautiful, and it's brilliant. We need to talk Honda. We need to talk Honda engines. We need to talk Honda. You spoke to Pierre, I know, but you spoke to Pierre earlier. They need to have a big weekend, a good weekend this weekend, don't they?
Yes, so they are running the engine so far, so they'll run it tomorrow. They think they've sorted out, there were some oscillations which threatened to break the gearbox when they ran it in free practice 1 in Sochi, so that's why they had to take it out. They think that they reprogrammed it successfully, so they will be able to run it for the rest of the weekend. That's not certain. They'll have to see what happens at the end of tomorrow. But Christian Horner says it's worth half a second per lap.
It'd be amazing for them if that happened this weekend. And also, they don't want a repeat of last weekend. They had the problems they had in Sochi.
Well, Sochi, yeah, both Pierre Gasly and Brendan Hartley disappearing out of the race for pretty much the same reason at pretty much the same time. Here we can see it here. A broken piston in the brake caliper, I think, was the official reason. I don't quite buy that. This, to me, looks like MGUK or brake-by-wire failure. Something at the back of that car put the brakes on very, very strongly and spun these guys around. There was nothing the drivers could do about it, certainly.
No, both guys lap 4 as well. Another team, actually, we were hoping for better last weekend, but it didn't materialise in the end. And they also used team orders, though it was more team management, I suppose, with the 2 Force India drivers. Let's just hear from them before we discuss it.
You know, when Checo, the team moved him past you, and then did you allow yourself a smile when he couldn't get past Magnussen either?
Well, I knew, unfortunately, that this was going to be the case.
How? Why did you know?
Because I think I had a bit more pace than him on the race that weekend. It's not always the case. I'm not saying that for always, but that race was the case. I was feeling great with the car, and I didn't see how he could do better than I did, honestly.
No, Esteban was trying his best, so he was trying to get close. I had the better pace, I had fresher tires, so the team thought that maybe I had an opportunity. We tried, but simply we needed a big too much delta to overtake Magnussen, so that was not possible.
Okay. No, I was just wondering, obviously, because they were fair and they gave you 3 laps. I thought by that time, well, you've lost all the benefit of your fresh tires.
Exactly.
But is anyone actually really pushing these days?
Pushing what?
You know, it seems like a bit of a tyre and fuel conservation, or at least it did in Russia.
Did you see my front left tyre or not?
No. Was it wasted?
You want me to show you?
Yeah, I do.
I'll show you. Wait.
The question was...
I'll show you if I didn't push.
But everyone's kind of driving just to conserve tyres and all of this. And
I'm not sure you're allowed to show that, really.
Yeah, we're rights holders. We're allowed to show it. Yeah.
Look, that's Kevin. One bang. And then he's blocking, so I cannot go by. You know, that's it. So if that's not pushing, I don't know what it is, you know. Went to contact, you know, at 300 kph.
We love him.
Sorry, my
Hope he
microphone
finds
was in the way. I didn't know. If he told me, I would have moved my microphone out.
Hope he finds a seat next year.
I didn't
Interesting,
see
though, he
that,
watches that back on his phone as well.
Yeah, no, I didn't
good
see
look.
that. So he hit Magnussen with his tyres.
Yes.
So, yeah. No, I think my question was are they pushing 100%? Because if they do, they'll wreck the tyres. You know, like they were scared of Verstappen
They
doing.
can't
But
push
anyway,
100% every lap. That's the trouble.
Yeah.
With racing at
Anyway,
the moment. We'll get there eventually. You say you hope Esteban Ocon's going to get a drive next year?
Well, I know he's got a sabbatical, hasn't he? Let's be honest.
I think even Esteban Ocon realises now that's not going to happen.
It's
Sadly.
a shame, though. It's a shame. And the management, it was
I
management
started
rather
that
than
interview
team.
by saying, I promise I'm not going to ask you about next year, so I can't talk about it.
No,
He was like,
had,
yes, thank you very
we
much.
had, in that situation, Force India saying to them, look, Esteban, try. OK, you've got to let Sergio go past. He's got to try and catch Kevin.
Yeah.
And if he can't, he'll give the place back. I mean, management there rather than team orders. But I think Sergio thought if he'd gone earlier, he might have got him, did he?
Well, it's what they should have done in Canada when they had the problems that started kind of the rift and the bitter rivalry between the two drivers. Force India managed this absolutely properly. Sergio thought that he had a better chance of getting past Kevin Magnussen. In the end, no, they didn't, because they just didn't have the pace over the Haas car, the 1.5 seconds you needed a lap quicker to make those overtakes happen. But at least Force India gave it a go and then swapped the places back.
But I was getting mixed messages from those two. Ocon said that it was cheeky from Perez, effectively, because he knew he was never going to get past him. And Perez said they should have let me have a go a bit earlier, because with my fresh tyres, I might have been able to do something about Magnussen.
All right, we'll see how that unfolds this weekend then. But let's go to the man who was in front of them in that, because he had a great weekend. P5 in quali, P8 in the race. It was another strong performance from Kevin Magnussen.
What made the difference that suddenly you were P5 in qualifying, and I know there were cars that didn't run, etc., and then P8 in the race with some good points? What made the difference last time?
I think we were faster in quali than we were in race. So I don't know what other people could have done and all that, but in the race we just seemed to be a little less competitive, and you know, even less than the Force India, it seems, and I think we did a good job to stay in front of them and still score some decent points. So hoping that we can be more competitive this weekend than we were in Russia. So that hopefully we can be in front of the whole midfield.
Do you see that, Ted? Stop it.
What?
Stop it.
And wheel nuts in here.
You are such a small child. Ted, do you see K-Mag the Haas being ahead of the rest of the midfield this weekend?
Yeah, look at how wide that thread
Can
is.
you go and get that ERS hook and just hook
No
him?
wonder they've got good pit stops. There's only like 2 lines of thread on
There's
there.
a press officer out of shot here having heart
fine.
palpitations.
No,
now,
we're allowed to. It's okay.
Ted, do you
change for next year?
do you see the Haas team
wipe
being
this on your
best
white
of the
shirt.
midfield for this weekend here at this track?
The funny thing is about the midfield is that nobody's developing their car anymore.
No.
So Renault aren't developing the car anymore, Haas aren't developing the car anymore, Sauber aren't developing the car anymore. So it seems to be who's turning up to suit what circuit. Actually, Sauber, the reason Charles Leclerc was best of the rest in Sochi was because they got this great Ferrari engine that strangely Ferrari couldn't get to work for them so well in Sochi. Leclerc was brutal on the straights, passing by everybody. Who can say it whether it's going to work here? Haas have traditionally been good in quick corners, of which there are plenty here. So.
Yeah, Romain Grosjean says, power. They've got a great engine. Will they have the downforce they need? Going up through those S's, you've got some quick corners here. I don't think Romain Grosjean is as confident as Kevin Magnussen that they've got the downforce they need to go as well as they could do here.
Let's have a look at Kevin getting his elbows out in Russia. He really did make his car wide, didn't he?
Well, yeah, Kevin Magnussen this year has been an absolute revelation for me, and I've thoroughly enjoyed watching him. Since his wheels fell off in Australia, he has finished every single race, and occasionally he gets a bit brutal in defence. But you know what? He makes it hard for people, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Perfect. Right, let's find out where we are this weekend then, before I come to you guys for some predictions then. First practice gets underway very early in the morning for you, 1:45 in the morning. Second practice from 5:45. Your Saturday looks like this, with final practice at 3:45 in the morning, qualifying from 6 a.m, which is simulcast on Sky One, as is the F1 show, which is 8:30 in the morning. Sky Sports F1 and Sky One, and your race day begins at 4:30 in the morning with Pitlane Live. We're simulcast on Sky One from 5:30 with On the Grid Live. The race gets underway 6:05 with lights out at 6:10, and all the reaction at 8:30 in the morning. That's all simulcast on Sky One for you this weekend here in Japan. I know it's one of your favourite places.
Yeah, I love Japan.
But who's going to win this weekend?
Well, listen, we said, let's rewind a week, shall we? And we said that Ferrari's superior engine should see them win in Russia. And then it didn't.
I agree with
and so
you.
I'm wondering why it didn't. And there's that story, isn't there, about
Well, you were
about
needling,
why
weren't you,
that
to find
didn't.
out?
And, well, I just want to know. I want to know where Ferrari's pace has gone and why they didn't win in Russia. Are they going to see it here? It's Vettel's favourite track. So, I don't know. I'm still thinking Mercedes have found something. I think it's quite less that Ferrari have dropped back. It's that Mercedes have found something, maybe with this clever rear suspension they've
Absolutely.
got.
And what they've done with the wheel hubs as well at the rear of the car. Max Verstappen, brilliant. He said if we could get a headwind into the S's section and a tailwind down the straights, we've got half a chance here as well, because the headwind will help us with downforce and the tailwind will make us go that much faster where we're losing power. So I think Red Bull have got half a chance on a track that should suit them. Let us say, though, the teams have done amazingly well to go from Sochi to here and get everything ready as well. This car is ready for a good night's kip. They did not start working on this to build it until 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon. It's been a mammoth effort by all the teams.
I just want to say as well, interestingly, when I asked him after the race last weekend what's missing, he's normally quite vague. He just said speed straight away.
Yeah.
So lots for them to find. We'll see what happens. Right, one name. Who's going to win this weekend? One driver. One name, one word, Ted.
Well, Valtteri Bottas said today
not
that he
one
feels
word,
like
one
a
word.
winner.
Lewis Hamilton is going to win this
So
race, Ted.
I'm going to leave Ted
If Bottas
rambling.
feels like a
Big
winner, then he
thanks
might
to
be.
Williams for having us in their garage this weekend and annoying the guys as they tried to get everything set for first practice tomorrow. Make sure you join us for all the running this weekend here in Japan. Are we going to get a name from Ted?
I'll say Bottas.
No, we'll see you tomorrow. All right, bye-bye.
Sayonara.
Sky Sports F1. Feel it all.